All right, we're here on the Schmearcast. It is Monday, May 5th. I am here with Senna. Jay, Senna, I'm sorry I'm keeping you from the Met Gala. I'm an
of
asshole,
course.
right?
Yeah, my invitation got lost in the mail, bud. So
Well,
no worries.
you're keeping me from a 75-degree day, but I'm enjoying a crisp Pilsner right now, treating this like the sunny day that it is, because
Monday.
we got to go somewhere gloomy, rainy. We got to go to post-apocalyptic Seattle to talk
Seattle.
about The
Hell on
Last of
earth.
Us. What the
Already.
fuck is happening in Seattle, as Dina says to Ellie, the latest episode of The Last of Us? There's been a little dereliction of our duties. I blame both of us, but we can get into why we haven't talked about The Last of Us in a couple weeks. People were wondering, especially after episode 2, and spoilers from here on out for season 2 of The Last of Us, people were waiting for that reaction, wondering where it was. But between that episode, which bummed me out, and we'll talk about it, and episode 3, which bummed me out in a different way just by how not good it was, I've been loath to talk about The Last of Us because I haven't been enjoying the season very much. But we're here to discuss those 2 episodes and episode 4, which came out last night, which I did think was a step in the right direction. But Senna, how you doing with this season of TV? Help me through my feelings, I guess.
Okay, so the best way I can describe what's happening in this show is that, like, it gives you this sort of, like, dysphoria because what you're seeing is incredible. Like, I'm thinking so far in terms of, like, the setting, in terms of some of the scenes I'm seeing, I'm just like, everything is telling me this is a good show. But then other things don't click, and it kind of just crosses your wires. It's still not doing it for me, but I know what's to come, just like I knew episode 2 was to come and kind of was like hinting towards it. I think they handled that. Okay, we'll talk about it. But I just know for what's on its way, there's a chance that they could really, really get it right. And they've already put some of the right ingredients in the mix, but a couple of good spices does not a good soup make, you know?
Yep.
And not a lot all the time. And there are some really, really good choices and some good spices to continue with the metaphor, but we'll see what happens.
Let's talk about episode 2, because we're now a couple weeks away from when that occurred, but
Yeah, Joel fucking dies.
Joel died.
They call it Joel in 1.
they do?
Yeah, because of the golf club.
Man. Yeah, so I avoided this spoiler, which is impossible in the year of our Lord 2025, but I had no idea this was coming.
I know. I was waiting to hear how you reacted. What did you think of it? Did it, like, smack you upside the head? Were you like...
So I guess my TV brain, the whole time his snuff film was happening, was like, broken legs. He got kneecapped. He'll be back in a couple months. Like, just put him on the rehab. Then he's now getting smacked the shit out of in the face with the club. I'm like, okay, this might be a little tougher to come back from. And
Can't put an ice pack on this.
then he gets the golf club through the neck, and I'm like, yeah, that could be it.
Yeah, pack it up, buddy. Your season's done. You're going to Cancun permanently.
The body bag being dragged through the snow. I'm like, well, is the body bag shuffling? Is he alive in there? No. HBO loves a shocking death. I'll flash back to Ned Stark dying in the first season of Game of Thrones. I don't want to go through famous TV deaths and relitigate them or spoil them, but the scene was artfully done. It was brutal.
Yes.
I had no quarrel with the scene, but I thought the show opted for shock value by having it in the second episode at the expense of more emotional buildup. Now, if we kept going in the town of Jackson with Joel and Ellie, and they had a few, Ellie, you mean so much to me, you mean so much to me, Joel, and then I'm tipped off that he's going to die, maybe that wouldn't have been right. But to put it in episode 2, I thought it was way too quickly coming at me. And the fact of the matter is, and we talked about this when we talked about episode 1 of the new season, I don't care that much about Joel and Ellie. I care about Pedro Pascal. Now, he's out of the show, and it's been like the lamest take over the past couple of weeks that I'm not watching Last of Us because Joel's out of it, and now it's just The Walking Dead. But there's a little bit of truth in the statement. I mean, immediately I was like, why do I care anymore? But I had to trust in the amount of money being spent on the show, the love and adoration for the games, the just belief that it will remain strong or get stronger. So I am sticking with it, but I hear those people and I kind of agree with it. Mama Schmear, Mrs. Schmear, both of them were like, well, what the fuck? Like, now what? And I get that.
Well, I want to say that you're wrong, and you guys are all wrong. And, like, I completely disagree. It has to happen in episode 2. It has to happen in episode 2, and there doesn't need to be a crazy dramatic build-up or any kind of build-up, because all I'll say is that lack of closure and abruptness is the point. It has to be the way it is because of what's to come, and I think you might already start to be feeling that in the later episodes with how the stakes are rising and the absence of Joel being so necessary for those stakes to feel even more real. There is a lack of safety now that comes with Ellie, who is a young adult, and her young companion. That could not be the case if Joel was still in the story. That kind of idea of getting pushed out of the nest by force without getting to say your goodbyes, without getting to settle your scores, without getting to forgive and forget. None of it. Death just comes. And now you have to deal with what comes after. And so that's kind of, I knew it was in episode 2, and I kind of was happy that it was going to happen that way because there's so much more story to tell. And I get how it makes you feel kind of icky, and I think it's kind of supposed to, because imagine how all the characters are feeling so unmoored by this thing that smacked them upside the head. It's like we're all upset about it too, right with them, and we need to feel that alongside them.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that because you'll be proud of me. I watched the game scene. I wanted to see how accurate it was, and it was horrifying. But it's exactly the same, if not even better potentially in the show. And I'm curious what that was like playing that in the moment.
It fucked me up, dude.
Yeah.
The story got leaked before because people were like, someone was so mad about it that they leaked the story. So I knew it was coming, and it still really upset me in the game.
Were you playing it like day one of the release? Was that? Yeah.
Did a playthrough, and then
how'd you feel in the moment? I mean, what was that like?
You're so angry. Like, you're just so angry. And I think that there's a difference in physicality of the character that plays Abby. If you saw in the game scene, she's like huge. Like, there's like impact, it's like, I think, HBO does the cutaways and you just hear, some of the sounds, and the game does a similar thing, but I feel like you being in it, I think both are good. I think that the show actually does a few things that I really, really like more than the game.
Yeah, what were those?
One thing that I didn't really love is that it seemed kind of like Joel and in the game it's Tommy are being sort of careless. Like, of course they want to help strangers, but they're real chummy, and it's like, I get that it's been a 5-year time jump, but this isn't how I feel like they would be behaving and get killed for it. In this one, it's like, first of all, it's Dina, which I think is a good thing. I think it's better that Tommy's kind of separated from this. And also, it's Dina's carelessness that gets them fucked up, right? It's Dina yelling his name, and it was by no fault of her own, right? She's just looking for Joel, doesn't know that Abby's there, and that kind of like, oops, like wrong place, wrong time, lack of information around the corner, sort of like that's what ends up getting someone killed. I liked more.
Does Joel save Abby in the game before Abby then kills him?
Yep. And then in the game, you've not met Abby yet, and you don't know her intentions. You just think
is she a little playable before that moment?
No, not. She is.
Okay, because I thought when she escaped the cordyceps, you could play that scene.
You get a little bit of backstory. You don't know her ultimate goal, but you do play as her for, and you're like, who the fuck is this? And then you see Abby get saved by Joel. You're like, oh, great. Right. And then, it was interesting that they made so many choices about like the humanity of the captors, and it's similar in the game. But in the game, they knocking niggas out with the butt of guns. They don't give a. They're not putting you to sleep with no needle for an hour.
This is the Gen Z Rainbow Brigade.
Yeah, no, it's like nice that like they really are insisting on the humanity of the captors, because I think it.
Well, they would be humans, So it's a fair point. I'm curious how it'll go when we meet them later in the season. I assume.
Yeah.
Let's talk about episode 3. I thought this was not just the weakest episode of the season, but maybe of the show so far. And I'm good with meditative, ponderous storytelling, but this was just so flat. I really disliked this come down. I don't know how you deflate and diffuse after episode 2. It's a hard task, but I just thought this was a nothing burger of an episode. Do you have any retort? Did some of it work for you?
No, I mean, it was needed. For what's to come, it was needed. This had to be that episode, but they can't fucking hack it. That's the fucking problem. They can't hack it without Pedro Pascal. Right. The cast can't, they just don't have the fucking chops. And and that's frustrating. And I'm even kind of turned on the actor that plays Dina. Like, in these scenes, like the therapist talking to, all of it's just not, they just don't have it. Yeah. And I think that they're talented and they're hardworking people in their own right, and I've already gotten shat on for making a very light criticism of Michael B. Jordan, so maybe I should watch my mouth, but I'm not fucking gonna. They can't
No, it was a real, here comes the B team.
Yeah, exactly. Much like this next movie we're going to talk about.
Where's Papa Pedro? And
where are the ringers?
I'm being facetious, but I'm also not. It's like a sports reference here, but it's like if your star player goes down and you were clearly a playoff team, maybe you had a chance at a championship. Now you're kind of limping to the playoffs. Like you're still winning, but you're not a force to be reckoned with anymore.
Yeah, people are licking their chops. They know that you're going down at some point. And like that's kind of how it feels here. And I think that, and we'll talk about episode 4 and how they kind of compensate for that. But in episode 3, the holes in the playbook are kind of showing. It's like, damn, like, we might need a flashback soon, guys. Like, we need Pedro to keep people invested.
We just had his beautiful jackets to smell in the closet. Which...
And like fake almost I don't know, man. I don't know, dude.
Do you have any fixes or ways to improve this episode? Like, I have one thing, and it's not so helpful, but I just thought I'd share that, like, you know, considering my lack of emotional investment, I was kind of just remembering I only had about 11 and a half episodes of Joel. That's it. And then he died. And we talked about this last episode where you play the game. That is hours of your life that you are communing with the video game, right? Like you're in it. So it's 11 and a half episodes of Joel. That's it. To this season where he and Ellie didn't even speak to each other. If you think about Tony Soprano, that's 86 episodes on The Sopranos. If you think about Justin Theroux in The Leftovers, that is 28 episodes of The Leftovers. This isn't even Dr. Robbie on The Pit with 15 episodes. This is 11 and a half episodes of Joel, and I just didn't get enough time with the guy. I didn't get enough time with him and Ellie. They cracked all those shitty jokes in season 1, but that was charming, and like I just needed more of them before this happened. Maybe a longer season 1 or a little more ramp up to this moment would have made this hit harder. We didn't get that, so you got to take it as it is, but that's the only thing I think could have potentially fixed this. A deeper emotional involvement through more screen time.
Yeah, and I get that. But again, I just think, and this is why I keep mentioning it, but it comes back down to Ellie's casting, because she now has to hold this show and hold up all of the emotional weight of like mourning Joel and ergo Pedro Pascal. And we have to be able to shunt all of those feelings onto her. Like she is our intro, like our entry into that, you know, like it's like she's feeling what we're feeling what she's feeling. We have to believe in her and root for her and be mad with her that we didn't get more time with Joel, just like she does in her life. And when you have a character that is leading a show that you cannot project yourself onto because they're not believable, it has nowhere to go. And that's why you feel like that. That's why everybody feels like that. In the game, nobody fucking felt like that. Well, some people complained. But, you know, like, for the most part, we're all just like, yeah, fuck, like, go kill those fuckers. You know, it's like, we're with her. And in this one, I'm kind of just like, oh, I'm bored. I'm bored.
It's a stupid response to that because it's a great point, but it's just time. How long did it take you to play The Last of Us, the game, the first one?
The first one?
Is it like a 25-hour investment?
I mean, I wasn't very good at it.
You are these people for 40 hours of your life. Like, that is just impossible to recreate that. All right, well, let's talk about episode 4. It is called Day 1, and I actually thought that Bella Ramsey as Ellie was much better in this episode. I thought, let's just backtrack in 1 second to episode 3. I thought the writing for her was bad. I thought the directing was bad, and I thought she was bad. But in combination, it just was a total sync. Really good in this episode, much better. But
in episode 3, also, we have to talk about the romance or not romance or will they, won't they bullshit that's going on with her and Dina, which is kind of like starting to round it, and that they're trying to root us in that. And none of that writing worked for me in episode 3 either. So it's like, I don't know.
Well, let's see if it worked for you in episode 4. But Senna, you always love this. We got to talk about a new character coming in.
They cast the nigga. They did, bro. They did. And it's my nigga, man.
Not just any. Jeffrey Wright. Emmy winner, multi-time Emmy nominee, Oscar nominee recently for American Fiction. Industry-wide considered one of the best working actors, but one of the maybe most unsung working actors.
Yeah, he's just everywhere. People don't give him the respect he deserves.
But he deserves it because he's got 2 scenes in this episode and absolutely murders them.
Absolute fucking cinema. It's the best shit so far. He barely talks.
So amazing in both of these scenes.
Oh my God, I was on like I'm getting excited again because that scene.
Let's talk about them. Start with the first one. Start with the opening of the episode.
Okay, so yeah, you get this flashback and you're seeing this entire fucking. Do we have to explain like the Fedra politics?
No, it's okay. I mean, we could just say that the Fedra agents 10 years ago, they're being corny as hell. They're being borderline, I don't know.
They're fucking fascists.
Assholes,
They're like, yeah,
douchebag,
they're
yeah.
mocking the fact that they are fucking like that they're
Right.
removing rights from people. And my nigga jumps out of the fucking truck, super nonchalant. This is like the best bit of physical acting. How nonchalantly he just plucks 2 grenades. It was like he was grabbing a lemonade off a table or something. It was like so casual, so chill. Poop, poop. Closes the door. Done. These people are fucking. He just murdered like 20 soldiers.
Hits a clean dap with
The
the
cleanest
lady.
dap to the fucking lady that came to recruit him. It was awesome. It was awesome, dude.
Okay, that's a great one. And then just a few scenes later, now we're fast forwarding 10 years, and he's got another amazing scene. Is it disturbing? Very much so.
Yes.
Very much Hugh Jackman and Paul Dano in Prisoners, you know? He's got this person he's torturing, one of the scars that we saw in the last episode.
Scars, yeah, both.
But before he tortures him and then actually shoots him because he's not getting anywhere with his torture, he monologues for 3 minutes
About cooking.
how much he wanted these French stainless steel pots and pans with the lid.
Yes.
With the lid, don't
Yes.
forget.
That was a scene after your own heart. Talking about how he couldn't get girls, so he had to learn how to cook. That is absolutely Schmear coded. I was like, dude, he's gonna love that. But instead, he's gonna fucking burn his skin off with it, and it's
Right.
incredibly like it's intense, and like you realize. You know, as much as you think this guy is aligned with the good, I don't feel like he needs to be doing that if he owns, like, if he leads a coalition of that many soldiers. I feel like, why is he the one doing it and monologuing kind of evilly before he threatens him?
I think that the first scene with the grenades, you're like, hell yeah, that's badass.
Badass as hell, yeah.
10 years later, his power has curdled into something darker, and you're like, that's fucked up.
Yeah. It's
I just don't really care about the scars or the story, and maybe these 2 scenes kind of made me realize.
not even when you see what they've been doing and like some of their fucking
well, we'll get to that, but I just maybe I just need to see dope shit in this show.
Yeah.
Great actors giving amazing monologues, doing some disturbing stuff, these great action set pieces, these horrifying, grotesque tableaus of carnage. Like, maybe that's what I'm here for at this point. Just a cool show.
Yeah, it's going to save the show. Everyone else is firing on all cylinders. They're giving 10s performances, despite maybe not the best interactions between the actors and the best chemistry. And I think that with what's to come, my only hope is that they continue to turn that knob up so far that it drowns out everything else that we're not liking. You know, it's like,
I would love to be emotionally involved in this, but I'm just not.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen. It didn't take. And so when this turns up the knobs on the emotion and pretending it's an Emmy award-winning drama, you're just not.
Yeah.
You're not that.
yeah.
But if you're badass, if you're cool, if there's great action set pieces, which this episode had a few of them, that's compelling. Like, that's enough for me. But I think the threading of the needle is a tough thing to do.
Yeah. This episode gave me hope, at least a glimmer.
Let's talk about those action set pieces, because there's just a great sequence of scenes that is top-notch, some of the best you could see on TV. We start with Ellie and Dina walking into that news station, seeing the corpses hanging with their intestines spilling out.
Yeah.
That was hard.
That shit was dope as hell.
Yep. Those were real actors hanging up there.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I watched the post-credit featurette.
Holy shit. That's intense. You just lay lifeless like that with fake guts all over you? Commitment. Yep. How much do they get paid for that day?
Great question. That leads to Ellie attacking a wolf goon, going full spider monkey on him, which then leads to that sequence in the train station.
Best so far. Best in the show so far.
Totally. It's easy to be seduced by that attack on Jackson and how big it was, but I was taken out of that by the bloater, by how Game of Thronesy it was.
Yeah.
Like, this was unique. This felt
scary,
like The Last of Us. It was intimate in a horrifying way and shot incredibly well.
So that's what saved. Yeah, that's what really made it.
So tactile and visceral,
and claustrophobic, and fucking
exactly
like, scary. Like, I was really I know what's gonna happen, and I'm scared. Like, I love that shit.
And then that goes into maybe even better, that turnstile.
That shit was so heat. Oh, that is so heat.
What a great place for like a horrifying scene or moment. And it was so rusty, that turnstile.
Yeah, you're like wanting them to push through. Like, and when Ellie gets through and Dina gets, it's like, that's how we elevate the game. Like, that's how we do it.
Last episode, you said that this game was much harder than Last of Us 1.
So hard.
This seemed like a very hard video game level.
Yeah, dude, it's like it is kind of like that. When you get into Seattle, shit is fucking hard. You're fighting zombies. You're fighting an organized, militaristic fucking like brigade with trucks and tanks and shit. It's like you can feel that.
So
the
was
stakes
this
are so
all
high.
playable?
Yeah, but no, but they changed a lot of it. Like this in the game, it doesn't proceed the exact same way.
But do
like,
you have the train scene? Do you have the turnstile?
you have the station. You don't have the turnstile.
Okay. Yeah. So
The
in the
turnstile is sick.
turnstile, Ellie sticks out her arm to absorb a bite from a cordyceps, and Dina's like, "Holy shit, I gotta kill you!" And Ellie's
kill my
like,
girlfriend.
"Whoa,
Fuck."
wait just 1 second." So after the thrilling action set pieces, it does slow down. Did the slowdown, did the emotion then work for you? A little better than last episode for me, but
Still not there.
still not there for you. I thought it was better.
Better.
I liked before this actually.
Take on
in
me.
terms of I like that
I knew you'd like
moment.
that. It's sentimental. It's one of the best parts of the game. Just saying,
Yeah.
not to be that guy. I was like, they got to get that right, and it worked. Yeah, much to Isabella Merced's credit, it is her emoting that makes that scene. It's looking at her falling in love.
I would counter that it's Bella Ramsey who played that for real, and her singing voice was pretty good.
Yeah.
And I love, the overgrown post-apocalyptic aesthetic is hit or miss. It is pretty cool in
It's
this
a
show.
hit, this one. I think they
But
did
in this
incredible.
scene, it's not creepy cordyceps and mushrooms. It's flowers, and
Yeah.
and the light streaming in. I thought it was really well done.
It was gorgeous, and like especially this impossibility of like this guitar perfectly preserved in the midst of all this fucking decay, and like
And we know Joel played the guitar
Yeah.
and taught Ellie that.
And
You don't have
handed
to
it on-
spell it out. We don't need a flashback to it. Just
just
we got
let
it.
her play, and like I just thought that was sweet, that was touching. It made me care a little bit for a second. I was like, oh, okay, I might want these two young bisexuals / lesbians to live.
So yeah, the hookup, Dina being pregnant. How did all that go over for you?
I'm the game guy. In the game, they're already in love by the time you find out, like shit's hitting the fan, and like she has to find out that Ellie's immune, and like they trade that secret. In this one, it was like she had to decide to love Ellie despite all those secrets. It's like more of a choice. It's like, hey, I'm immune. Hey, I'm pregnant. Hey, we're both probably gonna die. Let's raise a baby. And I was like, that's really cool. Like, that's really sweet.
But you liked it.
I liked it. I like
Yeah.
the pregnancy reveal being after and them deciding to still be together, I think is very fucking sweet. I think it's really, really cool. I thought it worked for me.
She's like, okay, you're not infected. I'm pregnant. Let's make out. And I was just like, sure, these are desperate times. Like, do what you gotta do.
Could have done without it.
I thought you just said you liked it.
No, the actual love scene, I was like, I don't know. Yeah, it just didn't work for me all the way. Whatever.
We're more than halfway through the season. You said you're hopeful about the rest of the season. This, to me, was the strongest episode of the season, which I know we got that Joel death episode. This was like a return to what I liked about the show in the first season.
Yeah.
Great set pieces, propulsive energy, a little bit of character work, but not too much, hopefully. I thought this was as close to a quintessential Last of Us episode as you can get.
Whatever that even means at this point. I am carefully and reservedly hopeful. I think that I'm worried about one step forward, two steps back with the level of intensity that's to come and how much of the rest of it they are going to have. Unless they, spread it out, a lot of it's just Bella Ramsey's going to have to put her big girl pants on and really start acting her ass off.
Yeah, it is a little strange that we're already halfway done with the season. Only 7 episodes this season. And I don't know if that was a strike-related thing, but I'm worried that this is going to feel potentially rushed and condensed with just 3 episodes left.
No, I have a feeling I know where they're going to land with a season this short. And I think I know why. And it's just going to feel kind of like a tease. They're not... The story's not going to be done. There's no fucking chance with what's to come that they're going to wrap it up. They're going to cut.
House of the Dragon season 2
and that's what they're doing to us. And it's the HBO fucking trademark. And we'll see if they can make it feel earned. I think that we're going to get a whole lot more Pedro Pascal, and then they're going to put us to bed.
There's our thoughts on The Last of Us.